What's up? I'm Matt. I'm from Wilmington. My drug of choice was if it was a drug, I chose it. Um, I grew up in like a chaotic environment, right? Um, to where it made me idolize drug dealers and what I seen on TV. And where that led me in life was to the streets, right? It didn't really matter what was going on in my house, even though my house was chaotic. It was when I stepped outside my doors, the environment I was in, it attracted me. It attracted me at a very early age. And that's what I tried to emulate. So when I got to the age where I was old enough to start emulating the things I seen, that's what I indulged in. And you know, it started off early, drinking, smoking weed, and just hanging out with older people in the neighborhood. And you know, as I got older, you know, it progressed into what I just call just partying, right? I was just partying at the time. And when I started to drink and party a lot, it made me feel more accepted. And I struggled with acceptance my whole life. So when I was around people and I felt like they wanted me there, I wanted to do whatever I needed to be kept there. So the first time I ever really experienced anything with knowing that I might have a problem with drugs was I got into a car accident when I was 19 and the doctor prescribed me Percocets. But I had already been living the life of a hustler. So my first experience with Percocets was just to sell them. I just wanted to sell them, make the money that came from them. And that's what I did. And eventually, you know, the people I was selling the Percocets to told me what I needed to say to the doctors to get stronger ones, to get more. And that's what I did. I said them things to the doctors and it worked. And then I became curious. Why so many people care about spending all this kind of money on these things? So I started taking them, right? And that looked like, at first I'm getting 100 from the doctor and I'm selling 80, 90 of them. And then the next thing I know, I'm keeping 80 of them and selling 20 of them just to make sure I got enough to make it to my next doctor's appointment. And eventually, you know, when the pill craze ended in Delaware, they just became too expensive. So when they became too expensive, I took that and turned it to a heroin habit. And with that heroin addiction, it led to any other drug that was available at the time, right? Because at that time, I just needed to escape any kind of reality. And during that heroin addiction, right, I've lost my kids, right, to other family members, to the state. I lost myself, right? I really lost myself. You know, my mom died when I was 23. And at that time, I didn't have a physical dependency on drugs. I had a drug problem, but I wasn't physically dependent on anything. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful my mom never had to see me go through what I went through when I went through this phase of addiction. Eventually, you know, drugs take everything from you, right? Your morals, your upbringing doesn't matter no more. I don't have no empathy for another human. I don't love anybody else. I don't love myself, right? I think I love my kids, right, because I'm present. But I'm not providing my kids with anything they need in life. So to get to the point to where I couldn't live the way I was living no more, drugs was a main part of that problem. But I didn't know they wasn't my problem, right? It was just my solution for so long. So finally, you know, all the nevers started happening, right? Like, I'll never be homeless. I'll never be a booster. I'll never be this. I'll never be that. All of them never started becoming true. And something had to change. And I finally was broken enough to where I reached out for help. I was homeless, living in Wilmington and Kensington, back and forth. I had nothing going on in my life at all. Pure misery, and I was okay with it. But when I finally got to that point where something had to give, I reached out for help. And that was almost 3 years ago. So if you're out there and you think you can't get sober, you can't get clean, it's definitely possible. It doesn't matter where you came from, how deep down in the trenches you was, we all can emerge. Thanks for letting me share.